Okay, I'm just flying off the handle here. I'm going to talk about a lot of different things. Figured I'd put my weekly video up, at least the weekly video I need to do every week, even if I don't feel like I have something to talk about. My sister, I want to give a shout out to Audrey. She frequents my channel. She's probably my #1 viewer, so I want to say thank you. And although you may criticize, okay, when you wake up and you're a dude, then you're going to believe the Mandela effect is real. Okay? So when you wake up and you got a couple extra parts there and you're missing some, Mandela motherfucker. Anyways, so I'm going to jump around, tell you some of my things that I believe in, my philosophies. Bear with me, okay? So I'm just going to fly all over the place. So first, quantum physics, okay? When you go down to the subatomic level, there's a thing called nanotechnology, okay? And I forget the exact name, but this is a fact here, okay? And I want you to listen to this. If we can create something, a machine, it's a machine, and it's small enough, the machine is small enough, we can literally go down to the subatomic level, manipulate matter, and rearrange the atoms in any given molecule or any given object, and turn it into whatever we want. This is good for us in a lot of ways. We can take trash and turn it into food. You know, we can do all sorts of crazy things. We can manipulate matter and turn it into anything we want. The reason it could be bad for us is if these machines go haywire and go on their own and they start replicating and creating something called quark matter or something like strange matter. And what that would do is it would eat, basically it's a goo, and it would cover the earth. These are scientific facts that I'm telling you. They're theories, but they're scientifically possible and plausible. Okay, and so when I'm talking about these things, they might seem a little far-fetched or out there, but look them up. They're real theories by people that have gone to Ivy League schools, the best schools in the world. The smartest minds are proposing these things. So that's a possibility that there's the good and then there's the bad. Okay, and there's other bad things that can happen too, like DNA or cells that can manipulate DNA and wipe us out, or manipulate the cancer cell and make it stronger. Okay, now there's another thing called wormholes, and what it is if you concentrate energy, enough energy in a given space, you open up. It's basically you open up the fabric of space, okay, and you create wormholes. And what these wormholes do is they could be tunnels to other times and places. So you can be in our Milky Way galaxy and say you can transport 100 billion light years like that, okay? Because imagine if you had a piece of paper and you travel along that whole piece of paper. It would take you a certain amount of time. If you fold that piece of paper in half and you travel through the two halves, it would take you less time. That's the theory of wormholes, right? But they're not stable enough. When we open them up, they believe that they're not stable. We can't keep them open for maybe a fraction of a millisecond. And if we send something through there, we don't know where in time that thing is going to go. Okay, so that's a form of time travel, right? Now, I believe that CERN has opened up a wormhole. Because what they're doing is they're manipulating, okay? They're messing with high energies. They're manipulating particles. Okay, they're crashing them together and they're creating new particles. But not only are they doing that, they're messing with the fabric of space-time. And when you open up a wormhole, things happen that you don't expect. Okay, you can't control these things. We know nothing about them. Look how we're a low level, technologically advanced society. And there's different levels. They classify them in. You can look that up. Mikio Kaku talks about it, okay? So we're like a level 0. And a civilization that uses their harness their sun's power for energy or whatever it may be, they would be like a level 2, I believe. Level 2 society. So anyways, we're a low-level society, and I believe we're messing with technology that we really can't handle right now. Okay, what we're doing is we're manipulating these particles, we're colliding them together, and in turn, we're getting some unexpected consequences. And these people at CERN I said it. CERN, if they erase me from the quantum program, it is what it is, okay? But these people at CERN and the D-Wave computer system, they have a statue outside of CERN. It's the Shiva, okay, the goddess or the god of destruction and the creator of the universe and the watcher. And they're telling us something, okay? And I think when they opened up this wormhole or went back in time, these Mandela effects are happening. I don't believe them all, okay? I don't. It's not that I don't believe them all, but they don't all relate to me. And they're not going to relate to everybody. Because you have to understand, okay? There's a thing in physics called branching theory. And what that states is that every time you make a decision, your reality, it branches off into different paths. And you follow the path of the decision that you made. I believe that if this theory is not true and it didn't exist, there would be no such thing as free will. Because if you can determine the velocity and the position of any particle in space, then in turn, if you knew all of the velocities and positions of all the particles in space, you can determine what would happen, an outcome of anything in the universe. So we would have no free will because we would be deterministic. Everything we did would be off-played from something else, right? So in order for us to have free will, this is my belief, I believe in branching theory, and I believe when we make a decision, these realities, they branch off. Okay, so when you go buy the new car that you have, in one reality you didn't buy that car, and that's a whole different reality within itself. And there's an infinite amount of realities. So, anyways, what they're doing at CERN is manipulating our reality. So these Mandela effects, you're not going to relate to them all because on your timeline, as I like to call it, you are not on the same timeline as somebody else. So you might remember, Sarah Lee being nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee, and I might remember it being nobody does it like Sarah Lee. But the interesting thing that I'm thinking about here is, does anybody remember it saying nobody does not like Sarah Lee? Like, is there a third reality or an option? There should be, okay? There should be. And I'm proposing that new theory of the Mandela effect, that not only two realities exist, but maybe 3, 4, or 5. Let's start looking for it. Let's start looking for multiple instances, like if you see Cheez-It or Cheez-Its, was it ever Cheez-It all together? Does anybody remember it like that? Let's look at these type of things, because we need to explain this phenomenon, okay? And like people's last names are getting changed, but do they remember these things? Are they in on it? Or did their reality change? Or, like, because I've never heard anybody come out and be like, my last name didn't have an S on it. Or Joel Osteen didn't come out and say, my name had an L in it, now it doesn't. But see, I believe Joel Osteen's part of the New World Order. And it's deep, okay? But once you come in a position of power, and it's not even a position of power, once you have a certain influence on people, I believe that the elites, the higher up, get involved and they levy against you. They threaten to take that all away from you, and you have to conform. You have to, you have to agree with them. I want to show you guys something. That tattoo right there, anarchy, and it's a state of disorder, lack of order, or basically, the meaning's pretty interesting. Look it up, but it's self-governed. Like, you don't believe in the whole government thing. You believe in you're a self. You're an entity, you know what I mean? Like, you're not governed by anybody, you're your own person. So anyways, I told you I was going to be flipping around. Audrey, especially you. I'm mentioning your name now in these things, so make sure you're liking these videos, okay? And, if you like them. And also, don't be afraid to comment, Tell me what you think. I like the comments, I like to reply. It gives me something to do. And everybody else, too. Comment. Take that extra few seconds out of your day. Let's figure this out together. What's going on with this Mandela effect, okay? Because it almost had me not believing in it for a minute. I started thinking of these things. Because you have to look at everything, okay? You can't just look at something from one point of view, okay? And you can't be too open-minded. You have to ground yourself in reality, in a sense, okay? So you can't look at one thing and just run with it and fly off the handle, because you're looking at everything from the point of view that you believe in this, right? So if I believe in something, everything that I look at is going to conform to that belief. You have to be objective as much as possible when we're dealing with these things. And if you can't do that, you're going to be lost, okay? Because you're going to take something and you're going to fly. You're going to take off. And so I stay grounded in reality and I keep an open mind, okay? But there's some weird shit going on. And I've been studying physics for a long time. And let me tell you something. The reason my mind's not blown right now by the Mandela effect and why I'm not losing it is because I've been studying quantum physics and all the theories and all the, the theory of relativity and just everything in theoretical physics, quantum mechanics. And it got so weird to me, but it seems so normal to me at the same time, because when you think of God, it's like something you can't understand, right? So God's not going to be cut and dry, simple. The atom is the smallest unit of matter. He's going to throw some things in there. He's going to throw us off. God's a programmer, computer programmer. It's really all he is, because when you look at it this way, reality we look at through a filter, okay? And those are our senses. We look at it through our senses. But if you can see reality objectively, and what I mean by that is from God's point of view, it's probably a whole different thing. So when we look at who created God and